The first thing that we need to do tonight is to select one of your previously primed backgrounds for tonight's exercise. I happen to go with this teal background for no good reason, but you can feel free to use any color that you like.
We are going to be doing a weird little mouse tonight based on a strange little experience that I had today in the shower. so so I just want you to, relax and maybe take a deep breath here because some of you might be already going, "Oh God, I've never drawn a mouse before." Or you might be going, "Oh God, I don't really want to draw a mouse tonight." But I'm going to encourage you to try this little thing. We're going to see if we can make something out of this. And the way I think about um, these characters is I really try to focus on shapes. So if you're someone that's nervous, you can always take a little white pencil or a regular pencil and just try to pencil it in first. I'm going to be brave and I'm just going to go with my gel pencil because it's low stakes. It's not going to matter.
Before we start the project, I like to always remind people that if they're going to pop a hole into this at the end, they want to leave a little bit of space to make that hole or just make it now. I use my pencil to make a little hole just to mark it, and I will make that hole later.
I'm going to make my little character have sort of like a little, I want him to look like he has kind of like a little hairy little face, like a little furry face. So I'm making like an oval with some little, wiggles in it, is for lack of a better word. That's really all I'm doing here. And then the mouse, their ears are honestly almost like little leaves, kind of like what we did last week. So look, that looks kind of like a leaf, right? And then I'm going to do another one on the other side. And it doesn't matter if one is bigger or smaller, it is not going to matter one bit. But I am going to put in the center something that's going to make it look more like an ear. And so those are some of these little lines that will help make it look like the ear is kind of folding onto itself a little. You know what I'm talking about with that, right? So I'm just making that outline. It doesn't look like anything right now. And now I'm going to think about the body of this critter. And I want there to be almost like a little shoulder coming out and maybe some kind of body and it's really just like an oval is really what's kind of happening here. So it's honestly like a little squiggly little oval here. It's almost like the way you would make a hairy little snowman or something. And I don't know how this is going to turn out. Like I said, I've never done a mouse before. But one thing I do want to do is I want to incorporate a tail because that's pretty much the way you're going to know it's a mouse. So I'm going to actually start up at the top of this card that I left here, making sure to avoid the spot where the hole is going to go. And I'm just going to make a really long, really thin little tail-ish looking thing here. And remember, just notice I'm going right over with my gel pen here. It's going right over the paint. If you didn't do that, or you're just going over a plain white sheet of paper, that will work too. But I think this will be sort of cute. So I'm just going to kind of make that little tail a little bushier. And then I'm going to focus on the feet. And the feet are just, I'm going to make them very accentuated and silly. And I don't really know how else to explain what I'm doing there, but that is just, I don't know how to explain that shape. To me, it's just, I'll do it on the other one. It's kind of like a long line with some, what would you say those are? Just little curly cues, really. Those are the feet. It's fine. It will totally work out perfectly fine. Not worried about this one bit. Then I need to think about how what I want to happen like in here because the little mice sometimes have like a different color, a little separate color happening here. So I'm gonna make something that's just like a I'm just making another squiggly little line here just to kind of juxtapose what's going to be like a dark area or maybe like a gray area from what's going to be maybe a lighter area. So I know that doesn't look very fascinating either. It's fine. This is gonna be all about a face. This is gonna be all about the face here. So now I'm going to try and get the eyes. Now, the eyes on this little guy are going to be very different than my usual kid eyes. But the thing that's still going to remain true is that I'm going to try to keep the eyes sort of low on the face. So I'm making like a little line with my pencil here, which is fine, just because I want it to look sort of childlike. So right below that line, I would say, so that the top line here is going on it, I'm going to make sort of like a little diamond shape. So it's just like a little low little diamond shape here. And then I'm going to, beneath that line as well, I'm going to make sort of like a half moon type shape. So it's like very asymmetrical type of face so far. This is very underwhelming so far, I know. And then I've got to make this character like have some kind of a nose or like some kind of nose-ish looking kind of thing. So I'm going to make a diamond, like a true diamond here. And I'm then going to make a little line coming off the diamond. And you could really do anything, but I want to make kind of like a, I don't know what you'd call that mouth, like a little weird kind of mouth. And I'm going to fill in the very top of my little diamond just to make it a little more pronounced. Going back into my eyes, I'm going to add that same little reflection mark that we did last week. And I'm going to color those eyes in black. Those beady little mouse eyes are going to be all black this week. Now I'm kind of realizing, oh no, I don't really love like how thin I made this little mouse, but maybe you made yours chubbier. So for my correction, I'm actually going to make my body a little wider just because I want to plump them up a little bit. And I might even do it on this side. It's totally fine. So believe it or not, oh, and then we just have to make something that's going to make it look like a snout or like a little snout. So I'm going to make that same little jiggly line that I did before. This is going to read like some kind of it will work. It's going to look like some kind of a face. So now we have some choices. Now we're going to get into the paint. I am going to use some paint tonight. And the good thing about using paint is, or at least the paint that I'm going to use tonight, if the way to make a gray or a brown color is to just mix all your colors together. So if you're in trouble, or if you're like, oh no, I don't have a gray or I don't have the right brown, you can mix it. So I'm going to grab my palette. And if you're someone who doesn't have paint, you could totally use colored pencils right now. I always like to show options. So I'm going to just grab a gray colored pencil. And if you can see, even my gray colored pencil would go right over this. So I just want you to see that if you don't have paint or you don't feel like paint tonight, you can use your colored pencils. So you can see it just goes right over. And I want you to enjoy the feel of that. So that's going to eliminate that thing, the extra line there. So just you see. So you could use colored pencils. You could experiment with watercolors and see what happens. You can play with markers, whatever you've got. So I'm using paint tonight just because that's what I feel like playing around. And I'm going to I'm going to start with a brown, and I'm probably going to go over the brown with some gray. So I am going to, with a dry brush, I'm going to squeeze out a little bit of brown, and this one is called Raw Sienna. This paint is so old. I very rarely use brown, and it's a challenge to me to just try and use it up. So what I'm going to do first is I'm actually going to go over the parts of this critter, this mouse, that I want to appear to be brown that I want to be brown. And so that for me is going to be practically everything except this center space here. So I'm not going to go over that. I'm going to leave that for, in my case, it's green right now, which clearly, there's no mice that have like green underbellies in real life. So we're just going for some fun here. So I'm going to paint this little guy's face. Now, what I am doing is I am leaving, and I hope you can make this out. I'm leaving a skinch of green, my background color, whatever your background color is, around the eyes. Do you have to do that? Absolutely not. But for me, that's just kind of whimsical and fun, and it's all going to work out in the end, but you don't have to do it. So I'm just going to go around those eyes, leaving a little teeny tiny bit of that whimsical little bit of green. And you can see, hopefully, I'm using the brush until the paint is off of it. So it's in some places it will be darker, in some places it will be lighter. It's totally fine. I just want mostly to follow I basically made a little coloring book for myself. I made a little outline and I'm just filling it in right now. And as you can see, you can still see that black line underneath. Not worried about it in the least. It's all gonna get covered. In my case, if you though were like, oh no, nothing's covering it, you can always use paper or collage to go over it.
So here I'm just painting the rest of my mouse a flat shade of gray, which is my first layer of color.
Now I'm going to grab my gray paint. And like I said, if you do not have gray paint, you can take black and you can take white and mix them together, and you will instantly get a nice shade of gray. I just happen to have some here, and it's just so it's a little time saver for me. But certainly I could use different colors. So now I'm mixing myself a little shade of gray. And now I'm going to go over the same exact areas that I just went over. And I'm going to hit it with a little bit of this gray color, not trying to cover everything that I did before. So I still want some of that color to sort of show through a little bit, if that makes sense. So I'm not trying to obliterate, that's a word I always use. I'm not trying to obliterate what I did previously. I'm just trying to add another layer for depth. And then I think I want my feet and I want some other colors in my ears. Now I have a couple of options here. You could use an oil pastel like I have here. I am going to use that, but not quite yet. You could use a colored pencil for this next little step, if that's what you have here. You could use a marker, like a Posca marker, but remember with Posca markers, you want the paint to be completely dry. But I think what I'm going to start with, I'm kind of liking the grip and the grit of my marker or my colored pencil on here. So I'm going to grab a white colored pencil, and I'm also going to grab a pink colored pencil because I think, or peach color or something, because I think mice, not to be gross, but I think they do have a little bit of that pinky color in their ears or that peachy color in their ears. So I'm grabbing a little bit of a pink color and I'm going to put that into the ear in the place where I had left a little. And my paint is drying very quickly, just so you know, it's very forgiving. And it's warm in my studio, but you may notice a different drying time for yourself. So you don't do anything until it's dry. But mine's already dry. And so I'm just going to add a little bit of peach to those ears to start. And I think I'll add a little peach to the feet, the little gross little tips of the feet. And I'm going to do it on this little guy too. So that's fine. And then I'm going to grab my white colored pencil and I'm going to go right up and over what I just did in the peach color and extend that white over the feet. So it doesn't totally get rid of what was underneath when you're using a colored pencil. That's why I kind of like using them and combining them. So I'm going right up and over what I already did. And then I might even want to make them even a little pinkier. So I'm going to just hit that again. And I'm going to do it in the ear where I added that pink as well. So I'm just adding that, you know, kind of place in the ear where it's like that soft little part of the ear that's kind of velvety looking. I'm going to also color in my little mouse's tail. And again, you could either do that with paint or you can do it with your colored pencil or whatever else you have handy. I think I'm going to go over this little tail just like I did before, the little bit of my white pencil because it just blends everything. I might want to put a little bit of white color pencil around the nose. And I might even want to make a little bit around the eye, just whatever feels right to you. I'm just sort of thinking the same way I would about a face, like where the light might hit it, where there might be some shadows, but it's just a mouse. You don't have to get too uptight about it. So I'm just putting in some little hints of shadow and light with my colored pencil. Again, there's no right or wrong. I'm just kind of hitting it a little bit. And now I'm thinking about this little guy's belly. So I actually am going to make a different color gray.
This gray is black and white with a tiny little bit of blue in it, so it creates a little bit more of a blue tint. But you don't have to do this. It's just an extra little step because I like to add layers for depth. And then I coated all the teal parts with that new shade of gray.
And I'll probably hit a little bit into the tail too, where I just added that brown just to make the tail a little fluffy, gray, unified thing here. So that's cute. I'm down with that. Okay. Now I want to think a little bit about it's kind of boring, right? It's like, oh, that's like not much happening there. I want to add some kind of a hand that's holding something. So in this moment, I want you to think about what you might want your mouse to hold. Do you want your mouse to hold like a heart? Do you want it to hold a flower? Do you want it to hold one of your leaves from last week? I mean, one's really too big, but if I had a smaller one, a little leaf could be cute. So you might want to look at some of your other things. Do you want to have it holding grapes? Do you want it to hold, I don't know, what do you want to have it hold a sign?
For this part of the lesson, I spent a fair amount of time trying to figure out what I wanted my character to have in its hand. And I finally settled on a little piece of foliage that I kind of made last week when we were doing leaves and stems and grass. And I am going to glue it down and then create some kind of a hand so it looks like it's coming out of his hand. And now it's time to make the hand or the little paw where the mouse is going to be holding its flower. And for me, that's just 3 little ovals next to each other.
And because what I want to have happen is I want there to be like a stem. And again, like I said, you just have to think what you're going to put in your character's hand. But I want there to be like a little stem coming down here. So I got to make sure everything's dry. And I'm going to leave that hand for right now while things are drying. And I'm going to come in here with my colored pencil. And I'm just playing for right now, just to start and see what happens if I take my colored pencil over my tummy area.
So for this portion, I'm speeding things up because I'm really just covering the mouse's belly. But some people might find that their colored pencils do not do this very well. I'm using a particular kind of colored pencil that is just wonderful. They're called Prismacolor Premier. If yours don't do the trick, you can always use a marker or acrylic paint.
And I'm extending this over top, this is going to give the look of the white kind of going over um the brown gray areas that we had. So I'm sort of just gently pulling my pencil over. It's not important. You don't have to do it. It already looks fine, but I'm just telling you what I'm doing. I'm pulling my pencil marks over a little bit just to make things look a little furry.
Here I'm adding some white shadow around the eyes, around the ears. I'm going into the belly a little bit more, just some places where I think the light might be hitting the mouse. And then I go into his eyes and with a little white marker, and I'm dabbing in something that's going to be the reflection in the eye, which instantly brings the character to life. If you don't have a white marker, you can do it with the back end of your brush and make a nice little white mark with acrylic paint. Now I'm going back into my character's feet or the paw. I want them to be kind of pink in the way that the feet and the ears were. And so I'm going to add that detail.
Now I'm going to grab my oil pastel. If you don't have oil pastels, it's fine. I just want to make some areas, which hopefully you can see. If I use my oil pastel, some of the areas will get a little bit more opaque with the white color. So like, see that? It just looks kind of a little hairy or something, so furry. So that's why I'm hitting it with that, but you don't have to have it. It's fine if you don't. It's completely fine. I'll put a little bit into the ear. And now I got to think about my collage element, right? That I've sort of challenged everybody to create. So I want to do some kind of a flower, but I'm not liking this color thing that I did, but I do like this idea.
Here I took forever trying to decide what I wanted my mouse to hold. I played around with a flower, I played around with another flower, I played around with a third option, and I finally ended up going back to my first option and repainting it so it was a different color. Once I finally settled on a shape that I liked, I grabbed my gel pen and I traced around that shape twice in a sort of a wiggly line to create movement or the illusion of movement. I played around with the shape and I cut it out with scissors, and it turns out I actually am really happy with the way it looks. Next, I used a little bit of gel medium to glue down the foliage, and I finished the stem.
And now I'm just back to thinking about like where the light would hit this little guy's face. Yeah. And I'm going to go grab my hole puncher, and then I may even add a word like I did last week. I might add a little word on his forehead. I have to see how much space I actually have. So let me take a look.
I'm pretty close to being finished, so I went and grabbed my hole puncher just to get the hole in there. And then I thought about if I wanted to add any little marks to just bring a little more detail to the piece. I was still struggling with that pink little bit of flower. It just wasn't working for me. So I decided to try that little yellow prior piece over the top. And in the end, I decided I liked it better. So I glued it on. And once I did that, then I felt really satisfied. This is the point in the process where I flip over the card and decide what kind of writing I want to add. So here you're seeing me turn the card over onto its back and doing a little bit of writing about the significance of this piece in my life today. So I'm putting on the date and just doing a little free writing. I almost forgot to put whiskers on this little guy. So very, very quickly, I just make some quick little lines coming out of his nose or his snout to indicate that that is where the whiskers would come from. It's a very quick, light hand, not too heavy-handed.
But he definitely needed that. And look, it looks like he's holding a little flower, and I just think he's super sweet.
And there it is, my finished little mousey. I hope you guys had fun with this project.
Great. All right, Emily, I'm going to turn off my camera and you can take it away.
All right. Thank you so much, Renee. This was so much fun. Yeah, just invite everyone to just move into the position that most comfortable for you. for this part of the class, for this meditation. I recommend that you lay down on your back to feel the full benefit of this progressive relaxation meditation. But you might be seated and you find that it works just as well. So just taking your time to get to that position, make yourself comfortable. If you need a pillow under your head, or if you need a pillow under your knees, a blanket on top of you, if you need an eye pillow, something, or a piece of cloth, or something on your eye, on top of your eyes, to make sure that you can go deeper into this relaxation. Taking a deep inhale, and a long exhale through the mouth. One more time, feeling in your lungs. Taking a long exhale through the mouth, relaxing your body completely. Now just coming back to the regular pattern of your breath, just focusing your attention on your belly, rising and falling. And just paying attention to your breath. Noticing the depth, noticing the speed of your breathing. Just being present with you right now. And then today, for an extra layer of healing, I'm going to open up the Reiki healing space. So I ask our angels and guides be here with us today, helping guide this Reiki healing energy to the parts of our bodies, our minds that need it the most. And allow me to be this clear channel of Reiki healing energy from source through me to you. As you're laying here in this relaxed state, in this surrendered state, I ask you to bring your attention to that spot between your eyes, between your eyebrows. As you bring your attention to your third eye center, we set our intention today. I allow myself to have fun, to be lighthearted, to take things less seriously. I allow myself to take life as it comes. To look at the world with the eyes of a child, with curiosity, with wonder, with glee. I allow myself to experience joy. As you let these words of our collective intention settle today, I want you to bring your attention to the top of your head, And imagine this big ball of blue light just hanging up at the top of your head. And this ball is going to start to melt and touch your body. And as it touches the different parts of your body, it relaxes it deeply. Makes your body glow in the same color. And infuses every little cell in your body in this healing energy. So starting at the top of your head, you relax your forehead, sides of the head, and back of the head. Bringing this relaxation down your forehead, your eyes, your cheeks. Relaxing your nose, your upper lip, and relaxing your bottom lip. Deeply bringing this blue bright light to your jaw and relaxing it completely. So much so that your mouth hangs open a little bit. You feel your tongue getting relaxed inside of your mouth. And slowly, you picture this ball, this blue light just pouring down your throat and relaxing your neck, sides of the neck, and back of the neck. Completely relaxing the top of your shoulders. Now bringing this bright blue light to relax your upper arms, your elbows, your forearms, relaxing your wrists, palms of the hands, and back of the hands. Slowly bringing this light to each one of your fingers, relaxing your thumb, second finger, third finger, fourth finger, and little finger. Feeling both of your arms completely relaxed and encased in this bright blue light of healing energy. Now bringing your awareness to your chest and infusing that with blue light. Focusing on deeply relaxing your heart space. And having this relaxation pour down your ribs. Relaxing your belly. And your low belly. Just having this bright blue light now shine through the entire torso. As you relax your hips, your thighs, bringing the relaxation down your knees, and shins. Deeply relaxing and infusing your ankles in this bright blue healing light. Bringing this relaxation down to your heels. Sole of the feet. And top of the feet. Relaxing each individual toe, starting with your big toe. Second toe. Third toe. Relaxing your fourth toe. And your little toe. Now feeling the entire front of your body completely relaxed, shining in bright blue light. And just bathe in this incredible healing energy. Slowly, we move the awareness to the back of the body. Relaxing the calves, backs of knees, back of thighs. Relaxing the glutes. Deeply relaxing, bringing that blue light to flood your low back. Your mid back. Bringing this relaxation to your upper back. Seeing the top of your shoulders, letting them drop onto the surface of your arm. Sinking deeper in relaxation. Imagining every little muscle that attaches to your spine just slowly loosening up. Bringing the relaxation to the back of your neck. back of head, and returning to the top of your head. Just laying here in complete body awareness. Feeling your body completely relaxed. Shining in this blue energy. As you lay here, I invite you to bring your awareness back to your breath. Just watching your belly rise and fall. Going up and down with your breath. Then with each exhale, we count backwards from 5. With each number, you're getting more and more relaxed, witnessing more and more healing in your body. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Completely relaxed, completely in surrender. Completely open to our collective intention of allowing ourselves to experience joy, childlike states of wonder, curiosity, glee, staying here with your intention. Slowly, with every inhale, we will count upwards from 1 to 5. Every time we go up a number, you become more and more aware of your surroundings, more and more in touch with your present reality. Starting at 1, 2, coming back, 3, 4, becoming aware of your surroundings. 5, coming back, and tuning yourself to the sounds that you can hear in the room that you're in. Tuning into the temperature and how it feels in your skin. Slowly starting to rotate your wrists and your ankles. Inviting some movement to your body. As you deepen your breath and you take a big deep inhale. And loud exhale. Reaching both of your arms up above your head and giving yourself a full body stretch. Gently rolling to one side. And staying here for a few moments, enjoying the safety of this fetal position. Slowly propping yourself up into a seated position. With eyes closed, bringing your hands in prayer position in front of your heart. And here together, we say 3 thank yous. One for ourselves for showing up. One for all the people that share this practice with us. And one to Source for the gift of life. And together we say thank you, thank you, thank you. Bow your head in gratitude. And I take this moment to close our Reiki healing energy field, thanking your angels and guides for being here with us today, helping guide this for healing energy. And I ask that each one of us stay in our own energy, and I stay on in my own energy as we move throughout the rest of our nights, that we get some restful sleep. May we wake up tomorrow renewed and with more energy. And coming back into the space whenever you're ready. Just want to thank everyone for being here today and follow along.